Hello, friends. Welcome to another edition of the Bill Crane Report with Duane Weiss at my side, ready to go, chomping at the bit.
It's a nice spring day.
Or chomping on a menthol lifesaver.
That's
yeah, one or the other. Folks, we've told you before that we don't rehearse this show. We don't compare notes. It just happens. And I'm going to tell you something. Today will be living proof. There is no way that we rehearsed this mess.
No, it's reach in the bag, pull it out, see what you got.
This is it. I had planned to start with Duane. Other stuff happened. But I'm going to go back to the original plan, and I'm starting with Duane.
Okay.
And the first thing we're going to talk about is the Wisconsin primaries. Now, if you folks don't know, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. Duane is from Wisconsin.
I'm a native.
As his bride, Monica, is. And they found their way to Norfolk and were that much richer because of it. But
I left there when I went in the Army. I never went back. So.
Yeah. Some strange things are going on in Wisconsin, and there's some strange stuff on TV. The talking heads were going on about it yesterday. Wisconsin is different. It's a totally different political culture. It's unlike any place, and Trump's gutter politics won't work there. That was a summation of one of the talking heads that was a talk show host on radio said on Fox News. And he also said Wisconsin is a hateful place. From my own personal observations, Madison, Wisconsin is the angriest city in the nation.
Yep, always protesting something.
The talk shows are vicious, and the race relations are caustic. Duane, will you explain all of this to me?
Well, Madison has always been the liberal capital of the state. It's the capital of the state, plus it's a liberal mecca. Partly maybe because UW is there. And I don't know what they got, 40,000, 50,000.
They get a lot.
Yeah, it's huge. It's like a city unto itself. And they draw a lot of the left-leaning liberal crowd to that area. And then it just multiplies. And so then you get that, you get the opposite side here, and they bickering back and forth all the time. For the most part, you got Milwaukee and you got Madison, and well, you got the other ones along the lake, but most of them it's rural. And now you get a central part where you got some metropolis, and it's just natural. It's going to happen. Where here you got such a diverse population. You got diverse opinions. We're really not, because we got almost all Democrats. But there, it's not just Democrats, Republicans. It's ideas and philosophies and everything else.
Yeah, I'll buy off on that. Just a point of interest. I used to travel the country
You've been
in
out there a lot of
sales
times, yeah.
for the last, 25 or 30 years of my career. And you know what? When you're driving around 100, 150 miles, going here, you got to listen to something. Talk radio is kind of the common denominator. I have never, though, heard talk radio like it's practiced out there.
Where I lived, we didn't have any talk radio.
Boy, I'll tell you, really is absolutely incredible. And the racial element of it, and the things that they would say to one another, it borders on Well, it's a heck of a lot worse than just being rude. I mean, it's vicious. And now,
I can't comment on that because I don't know.
yeah. And I used to do a lot of business in Kenosha.
That's the industrial belt.
Yeah, which is right down by the Illinois line. And it was okay. But boy, up around Madison and the Milwaukee, of course, the radio stations come out of Milwaukee, the big ones.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Well, anyway.
That area, like Milwaukee, down Kenosha, and Janesville, that's sort of an extension of Chicago.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a megalopolis, they call
Yeah.
it.
So the overriding sentiment, now today we had some more Milwaukee or Wisconsin people on. The overriding sentiment now in Wisconsin, they do not like any of the 5 candidates.
That's not surprising, though.
You know, and what have we become with this collection of turkeys?
Because I think we can agree with them on that point.
Yeah, we sure can. Wow. And just for our listening and dancing pleasure here, let me share with you the fact that the University of Marquette Law School poll, which this talking head said, I think he was the mayor of Milwaukee, I think.
Could be.
He said it's the best poll in the state. Ted Cruz, 40.
Yep.
Donald Trump, 30. Kasich, 21. So that means he won and the Donald is 30. If I were Donald Trump, well, let me back up. If Donald Trump were rational at this point in time, he would have to look at these numbers and say, what the devil's going on here? So what the devil do you think is going on there?
I don't think he understands the makeup of that area.
Yeah.
And
It's unionized. There's a lot of union out there.
there's that corner we're talking
Yeah.
about. The rest of it's not. But
It's ag.
a lot of it ag business, either farming or what they call it, agribusiness. they
Yeah,
call it.
agribusiness, yeah.
But the union is almost unknown in the rest of the state.
Yeah.
But they don't trust anybody out of Washington to start with, for good reasons over the years.
And boy, I'll tell you what, I'm
And they
on
don't
their
trust
side.
Trump
Yeah,
because he's like New Yorkie,
yeah.
and don't bring your ways here, pal. The rural part, which is the vast majority of the state, area-wise,
But not population.
not population-wise, because once you get out of that megapolis in that corner, there's very little. The population gets very sparse.
Yeah, not a lot
Green Bay's
going
got
on.
some, and after that, there's if you got a city of 30, 40,000, it's huge,
Yeah.
and it might be 40, 50 miles between them too, before you get to another one.
For you football fans, you're used to teams in L.A. and New York and Atlanta. Green Bay has 104,000 people.
Yeah, that's everything with their suburbs and everything.
Yeah, and it looks like Norwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a very, very homely city. There's nothing grandiose, nothing upscale about it at all.
No, it's an old city. It's
Yeah.
been around for a long time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Meatpacking industry used to be
was
there,
there.
which is where the Green Bay Packers got their
and
name.
a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of marine business
Oh,
on that
yeah.
side of the state. There's along that Lake Michigan. There's a lot of boat manufacturers, actual ship manufacturers.
Yeah.
They manufacture there. They take them out through the St. Lawrence Seaway, and they utilize it.
And
that
then
way.
once you get inland from Green Bay over towards Appleton,
Yep.
then you get into paper country.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So it's a diverse state. Now, let me tell you about the Democrats.
Okay.
Bernie Sanders, 49. Hillary, 45. Hillary had been leading that by 15 to 20 points.
Sanders' support's going to come from the Madison, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Particularly Madison again.
Yeah.
They don't like him too much, I think, in the rest of the state because you got a lot of high percentage of millionaires in that state, and they're land millionaires, we used to call them.
Sure.
The price of land has gone from, I think, $500-600 an acre, and it's for years it stood at $200 an acre. We're talking farm, tillable land, and even woods were worth nothing.
Yeah.
And over the years, back the past probably 10 years, I'd say 10 or 15 years, the price has skyrocketed.
It has.
From $500 or $600 to $6,000 and $7,000
That's
an
exactly
acre.
right.
So if you're sitting on 300 acres would be considered a small farm.
Right.
Times $6,000. Do the math.
Yep.
You're
Big money.
You're sitting on millions of dollars
Big
just on
money.
the land alone.
Yeah.
And they're very concerned with somebody like Sanders. He's very socialistic tendency. They don't want somebody that's going to get in there and all of a sudden the death tax comes back or an inheritance tax or all this kind of stuff. They said, no, this is our land. We worked on it for generations. I don't want the government coming in and taking it away.
I want it to stay in the family.
Yeah.
Okay. We just can't beat that subject to death any further. So I've got quite a few other questions for you, though, young man.
Go ahead. Thank you for the young man, by the way.
Hillary under FBI scrutiny / investigation. Now, the latest is she's going to meet with the FBI director.
Yep.
Will she be indicted?
You want to give me what I'm wishful thinking or what I really think?
Well, all right.
Well, wishful thinking, I wish he was.
Let me just say one thing.
Go ahead.
The FBI director, Comey, is a no-nonsense, straight arrow.
That was my next point.
Yeah, but he's not going to have the ultimate call.
Yeah.
But if he goes and says, indict her, and the Attorney General goes to Obama and says, what do we do? And Obama says, don't do it. And Comey resigns, along with a lot of turmoil within the FBI.
Yeah.
That's almost as bad as her getting indicted.
When I said wishful thinking, I didn't want him indicted just because she's Hillary Clinton.
Right.
I want, if she did something wrong.
Which she very obviously did.
And then proceed by rule of law. That's what I mean about wishful thinking. The other side of it is where the Attorney General gets in, it gets whitewashed, gets pushed out the door.
Yeah. And I understand that. Yeah, totally. The thing is, with her, is if she were not so unlikable, if she would just have batted her eyes and said, oh, golly gee, that was kind of a silly, stupid moment with me. And, I wish somebody had grabbed me and said, Hillary, damn it, you can't do this with this server. She said, but, oh, man. And you know what, Duane? The American people are a forgiving people, and she would have skated.
All politicians, if they would just say, yeah, I think, now when I think about it, I screwed up.
Yeah.
I really made a mistake, and I learned from it. I'm not going to do it again. Well, no, there was really no
How
problem.
about her husband?
Yeah,
I never had sex with that woman, Miss
The more
Lewinsky.
he denied, the more people started to laugh at him.
And then afterwards, well, I'm mortal man and born with original sin, and I made a mess of things, but this wonderful woman is standing by me. And what do the American people do?
I idolize him today.
Oh, aren't they wonderful? Let's go on Oprah and hold hands. And the American people said, fine, just,
But it's that stall and deny.
Arrogant.
Arrogant. Yeah, that's what it is.
Arrogant denial.
Yep.
In other words, who the heck are you to be questioning me? I'm Hillary Clinton.
Or I know that you're too damn stupid to know any difference. That's something else that irritates me.
And she really thinks that too. Now, what are the following people thinking? See, I can ask you this because I know you're clairvoyant and you're very bright.
Oh, great.
So, what's Joe Biden thinking?
Hey, Joe Biden's just going to sitting back and watching where this thing's all going to come out.
He's not thinking at all?
He just kind of laying back and he says, well, if it goes this way, it goes this way. It goes that way. I don't think he's going to really get involved right now because I don't think you could excite Joe Biden with a nuclear bomb.
So in other words, he just says to the wife, well, you see if the Phillies game is
Yeah,
on
exactly.
TV and bring me a couple of buds, will you?
I think that's Joe Biden today.
Oh, God. All right.
And
What's-
will they go out and actively say the two of them crash and burn? Will they actively recruit him? I don't know. Will he accept? That's another thing.
What's John Kerry thinking?
I think John Kerry secretly would like to be the rider, the knight on a white horse, come riding in at the end and save the Democrats.
Absolutely. You got that one right.
Yep.
All right. What is a Cherokee princess,
Oh, the fake
Elizabeth Warren, thinking?
I think if she had it to do over again now and not a year ago, she'd have been a president. She'd have been a candidate. I think she's changed her.
She's got no foreign policy,
Well,
though,
no, but
experience, and she would get absolutely just laid out
Oh,
in
absolutely.
a debate or.
Yeah.
I think she was wise to wait.
Yeah.
But do you think that she's kind of hoping maybe they'll pick my name out of the hat? Or do you
A
think
few months down the road, I think she will be.
Will be?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
because I've read speculation that says she's still, in her mind, not ready, but she's ready to be vice president.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Should.
Yeah.
She'd accept vice president in a heartbeat.
So if Biden is pressed into service and says, I'll do 4 years, I'll do one term
Yep.
because you're putting me on the spot,
Mm-hmm.
and now the our senator says, okay, I'll be vice president. Here, see, I got my hand up.
I think that pair could be a very viable duo.
Yeah. Deval Patrick. In his heart of hearts, I think that President Obama would really love to see Deval Patrick, another black president, and to continue his legacy.
Well, I think you're right. There was for a while some rumors going around, speculation that Deval Patrick is going to be appointed to the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
That doesn't look like that's going to happen right now.
I don't think so.
But I shuddered at that.
Downstream, who knows what they're capable of doing, you know?
But I suspect that if Hillary wins, that Deval Patrick will find himself in a position of power.
I know, I'm not buying that one. That's not her style.
All right.
Andrew Cuomo.
Oh, God. Well, I know what he ain't going to do. He ain't going to be going to North Carolina soon.
Yeah, but you know, New York's a big state. And
I think Andrew would like to sit in the White House.
oh, yeah, there's no question about
No
that.
question about that.
No question.
Could he get elected?
Well, I
I
again,
don't think many people know who he is.
that's
past
exactly right.
Ohio.
I think he fits in the Joe Biden being forced into it.
Yeah, he could be a vice presidential candidate.
That's right.
Yep.
And the last one I have down is Bernie Sanders. What's he thinking?
Bernie really believes he's got a chance.
Yeah.
I think he really believes it because when he started out, they said half the country said Bernie who?
Yeah.
Bernie who?
Yeah, and
Bernie
the other half was laughing.
Yeah, half. So he's some kind of socialist up from up in New England, but they're not laughing now.
No, they're not.
He drew an audience or support from that youth.
When money started coming
Yep.
in, all of a sudden it changed from joke to serious.
Yep. And if he would, I don't want to speak for their candidacy or their while they run their candidacy, but he's as a candidacy, he's too nice right now with Hillary.
Well, there's an interesting story
Oh, there is. Okay.
on Fox.
He doesn't go for anything.
On
he
Fox.
this is the administration, this administration, that, and instead of saying Hillary's doing this, Hillary's doing that.
He doesn't go for the throat
No, he
at all. However, Hillary, now supposedly, these talking heads
Oh, I
on
know.
TV, they take everything with a grain of salt.
Half an
I
hour
mean,
later, you find one that's got 180 degrees
Yeah.
on it.
But the story is from one of the political consultants that Hillary Clinton is refusing to schedule any debates with Bernie Sanders in New York. And the reason is he's from Brooklyn.
Yeah, I know he is.
Yeah. And she's afraid that the gloves will come off when he gets back in his neighborhood,
Backyard.
and it's going to be a abrasive Brooklynite that goes for her throat, and she does not want that debate. Now, who
Tell you,
knows?
they have- television ratings would be way out there.
They would be,
Yep.
and no question. All right, well, we beat that one to death for a while. Hillary Clinton runs strong with African Americans. Why?
I think that's a holdover from Bill.
Okay.
Because a lot of them he tried to bill himself as the African American president, the white African American president. And I think that's a holdover from.
When you heave mud at the wall,
Yep.
you hope some of it sticks.
Yeah, throw enough, something's going to stick.
Yet, in 2008, when Ted Kennedy told Bill Clinton he was going to support Obama over Hillary Clinton, he said to Ted Kennedy, "Are you kidding? 2 years ago, he would have been serving us coffee and carrying our bags." Now, that story's been out there. No umbrage from the blacks over that? If he had said that to me about Irish, I would have said, "Who the hell are you?"
Some communities got short memories on certain things. So, how can you explain that? How can you explain today,
How does he get so many free passes?
other than if you look at pure philosophies, Lincoln was a Republican, freed the slaves. They adored Lincoln. Today, they're almost all Democrats.
Yeah.
The blacks today. There's a lot of
Well, there's a lot of that.
yeah.
FBI cracks Apple cell phone, asks judge to drop their request that Apple be forced to cooperate. Question. Did Apple, in the dark of the night, at a meeting on a third floor walk-up under the veil of secrecy,
Go up the back elevator.
say, look, FBI, we'll do this one for you, all right? Just say you cracked it yourself.
Yep.
We don't want to be in a position of us doing it to our
That's right.
Customers.
Customer base. You can be pretty sure that the FBI themselves did not do that.
Oh, no question.
There's no question about
No
that.
question. You know what I heard? Again, you watch enough TV, which I do for a couple of hours every morning while I read the paper or drink coffee. You're going to hear everything. Three-headed Martians landed,
Right, exactly.
in Chicopee last night or something. But one of the stories was that the Israeli intelligence cracked it. Now, if that's true, Duane, the Israeli intelligence cracked it a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because they didn't just, on a whim, for the FBI,
Nope.
do them a favor, and overnight, in the twinkle of an eye, if you will, oh, here it is, we cracked it. I think the Israelis cracked that thing a long
Always-
time ago.
Always be careful or wary of the guy that doesn't say it, the quiet one. They don't say anything about their business, what they do, where they got, what kind of weaponry they got, where their troops are deployed or not deployed, what their capabilities are, nothing. Everybody else, the U.S., the Soviet, or Soviet Russia, they just lay it all out there.
Yeah.
The Israelis, nothing.
That's
You
right.
you look at them. Do you have nuclear weapons? They'll look at you like, I don't know. Yeah, well, we might not.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, that Mossad, they've been for years just crack troops. I don't mean cracking the codes. I mean,
probably the best
yeah,
intelligence.
they all had
worldwide, yeah.
for decades have had way ahead in everything else.
And you know, of course, this administration, the 8 years under Obama, has set us back so far. We may never recover. But you know, we used to have real tight relations with Mossad and with Israel. And there was a lot of one hand washing the other and helping one another. And who knows
You would
what
have
state
thought
it's in
for
now.
for years now with the situation in the Mideast, an airline like El Al, they would have been a prime target. Al Qaeda and all the rest of them would like them to be the prime target, but they can't get to them. There's a lot going on in the background that.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gunman invades Capitol building. Police shoot him. This same nutbag from Tennessee had been there before last year.
Yeah.
And boy, I'll tell you, the courts were tough on him.
Oh, it must have been.
They gave him a stay away order.
Well,
Now, how did that work out? How well was that
I
taken
know
care of?
he would have said, "Yes, sir. You say so. I'll follow."
Boy, I'll stay. I'll go
Oh,
back
I'll-
to Tennessee.
Yeah, I'll never come here again.
Nope. Until the next time. And this
Yeah,
time he brings a gun and gets in there. And what the devil goes on? It's a social, yeah. Homeland Security or the White House secret police, are they? Secret Service. Are they this inept?
I used to say not, but I had a little experience with them.
Yeah.
And I always thought they were extremely professional.
Yeah.
But you know, you remember that thing in South America when they start running around with hookers and
Oh, yeah.
partying at night? I was really surprised. Of course, you know, the younger generation will. But
But the older generation probably did
did
some of
too,
that
just
too.
a little
you
more
know?
discreet.
Yeah, I remember the old days and what went on.
But did you notice he had a pellet gun? What we talked about the other day.
No.
He had a pellet gun.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
the
misunderstood you.
shooter.
Yeah, he had a.
And he got shot because of it.
Yeah.
What I am surprised now is that somebody's not throwing a racial card into this. Oh, he's a black man. You know, that craziness.
The TV show, 5 on 5 on
Yep,
Fox
on Fox,
News.
yep.
Yeah. Is a sad undertaking with a bunch of plastic people yapping. I'll tell you what, it performs one great function. It makes our show look great.
Yeah, well, we don't have the legs that a couple of them women have.
No.
either.
That's
you know,
right.
You know, that one-leggy one's, I don't know the
Always
name of
on the
it. Always
outside.
on the end, yep.
Yep. You're right. She got great legs.
Sorry about that. We're what do they call them?
Well, we're men.
We're pigs.
Shamelessly.
Shameless
Yeah.
pigs, that's all we
Yeah.
are.
But that's they're just not deep. The
Yeah, I'm not sure the program was ever meant to be deep because
Yeah.
it's kind of like sitting around with a couple of beers with
Yeah,
friends and stuff,
yeah.
just chit-chat.
Yeah. Tell you what, folks. If you haven't watched 5 on 5 at Fox, it's on Fox News at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
And just 5 people sitting
If
around
there's
the
nothing
table.
else on, it can be entertaining.
But watch it and then watch this show. So anyway, take a look at 5 on 5 and compare it to this show.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. We're miles ahead,
Yeah, we get into more subjects than they
Yeah.
do.
and we approach them seriously. Christian slaughter in Pakistan. Bomb sets off in a park, kills 65 by a suicide bomber. A breakaway faction of the Taliban claims credit. Key word there is Christian slaughter.
That's right.
When is our president ever going to condemn this?
One of the news channels would not even use that word Christian.
Yeah. This is, I'm getting paranoid about this, really
yeah.
and truly.
Well, he won't see Muslim terrorist either, or Islamic terrorist.
Yeah, oh, I know. President Obama, and this is a leak from another talking head, okay?
Mm-hmm.
President Obama is frustrated by terrorism. Now, he doesn't think it is a big deal. It's almost like a natural act.
Yep.
But now there's more and more, and it's getting in the way of the focus on his important initiatives. And one of the insiders said it's getting in the way of closing Gitmo, climate change, and children eating right.
Those are three legacies.
Yeah.
That he wants to leave with,
Yeah.
among other things.
So if terrorists murder Christians willy-nilly,
it's
and
like, don't bother me.
innocent people,
Don't bother me with that stuff.
don't bother him.
Yeah.
And he is very bitter and won't talk about it
Yep.
because it is usurping the air that's available for conversation.
Yep, exactly.
And he wants to close Gitmo. He wants to talk about climate change, and his wife wants to talk about children eating right. So there we are. Terrorism takes a back seat. The military takes a back seat. Tactics take a back seat.
Yep.
Planning takes a back seat.
You can't defeat an enemy you can't identify. And he just refuses to
That's
identify
it.
him.
You know, it's like a kid who is in a room at night in his bedroom, and he hears a noise, and he says, I'm going to close my eyes real tight, and it's not going to be there. And that's what he's doing. Closing them real tight, and terrorism is not going to be there.
When my son was little, he used to think if he sat with his eyes shut, you couldn't see him.
Yeah.
How can you see me?
National poll on the chance of a terrorist attack in the United States this year. The first category is a great chance / fair chance of it happening. What's the total?
The percentage that
Yeah.
believe that? Actually, the believe it to happen,
Yeah.
going to happen. I'll say 70%.
71%. You're
71.
off by one. 27% say little chance, no chance.
Yeah, they've already said that. You're on the radar.
Yep. Terry Turchi was on. He's an anti-terrorism expert. And he said the problem in Europe is much more difficult than it is in the United States with the refugees. Because in the United States, we assimilate them into our society. In the European countries, they do not assimilate. They're not allowed to assimilate into society. And they do not want them to become citizens. And they are pushed off by themselves in enclaves. Now,
Also, European, you've got so many different cultures.
oh, absolutely.
It's not like, we got different cultures here too, but we're kind of, you still got the base the same. There, they don't have any base. There's, between some of the countries, one country to the other, there's no relationship whatsoever to one of them. Even the different alphabet's different.
A perfect example of the Germans.
Yeah.
I know. They brought Turks in as taxi drivers,
Sure.
laborers, and all of that in the early 80s, mid
Yeah,
80s.
they had a labor crisis.
Turks want to become citizens. No, can't be. So they do not assimilate. So what's going to happen over there? Well, the Turks are angry.
Yep.
It's Angela Merkel doesn't seem to understand that.
No, she doesn't.
And I can understand why. All right, they would say, look, you weren't born in this country. You can't be a citizen. You came here to work. If you don't like it, take your pension and go home.
Japan's like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really like that. You can't.
Oh, yeah.
You and I couldn't go to Japan and become
Nope.
a citizen.
Nope. I got something else about Japan coming up here.
Okay.
So, did you read the comics over the weekend?
No.
Well, we have 2 comic strips.
Okay.
Mallard Fillmore, Mallard the Duck.
Yeah, I like him.
Yep. Easter Sunday. Here is the comic strip. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. A blessed Easter to you.
They do that.
2006.
They do that at Christmas too. They make a nice. You know, I believe that Sun Chronicle dropped that one.
Oh, yeah. No,
Is
I
that
got
on
this out of the Sun
Or else the Globe dropped
The
it.
Globe probably did.
Yeah, it was not right.
But here's another very well-known comic strip.
Doonesbury.
Doonesbury. Okay? Doonesbury got a Easter message in there? No.
No.
The message was about climate change and making fun of Senator Rubio and, generally speaking, the Republican Party for the flooding that's going to take place in Florida. Friends, I don't pretend to be the guiding voice for your reading pleasure, but I might suggest to you that you give Doonesbury the gas. I'll never look at it again. I'm just disgusted with him.
No, the Daily One's been running the old series from back years ago.
Yeah. So we have vandals attack second statue of the Virgin Mary. And this happened in Burlington, Massachusetts, where they beheaded the Virgin Mary and cut her hands off and took her hands full to what that had the rosary beads. Another assault on the Catholic Church. I hope, now I know this won't happen, because this is Massachusetts. But I hope they get these morons who did this. And I hope someone has the backbone. Someone in this state has the guts and the decency to say this is a hate crime. This is not juvenile delinquency.
Nobody will step up like that.
Nope.
Position of power.
But
It just won't
what
happen.
a cowardly bunch if they don't. This is the definition of hate. 50 years in jail would not be enough to satisfy
sound
me
like me
for
now.
these. Now, I have another one for
Okay.
you. We have this story. We have a story of a water tower in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. And written on it is First Baptist Church, Broken Arrow. Now, for you folks that are not up on your Oklahoma geography, Broken Arrow is a nice community just outside of Tulsa, to the southeast of Tulsa, 7, 8, 9 miles, I think on the road to Muskogee. I used to stay there all the time because they had a very good Holiday Inn there.
Very good.
So, why am I showing you this, friends? Well, a group of atheists are suing the town.
I figured that was coming.
Yep. Now, why do you suppose they're suing the town? Because they don't like the fact that the First Baptist Church has their name on the water tower.
That's right.
However, there's a little bit more to the story, friends. When they discovered they needed another million-gallon water tank, one of the problems they had was there was no really good high ground to settle it. The highest ground they found was where the First Baptist Church was.
Yeah, that part of the country has very little, if any, hills.
Flat. So, they made a deal with Pastor Nick Garland of the First Baptist Church, and he gave them enough land to erect the water tower. They donated the land and the easements to the tower. Didn't cost the town of Broken Arrow, city of Broken Arrow, anything. It was given to them with the proviso that their name be on the First Baptist Church. Now, the First Baptist Church is adjacent to the water tower.
Well, they could just say it. That's not the name of the church. That's the name of the water tower.
Exactly.
That's all.
Well,
what's the difference?
The atheists are very, very angry. It's a group of all places from Wisconsin. And that's what they do. They go around the country and they find small communities they can pick on that will not pay a law firm.
Fight back.
Yep.
Exactly.
So basically the folks in Broken Arrow have said, go ahead, sue us. Yeah. Go ahead. Knock yourselves out. My wife, who is far smarter than I am, has more common sense in her little finger than I have in my body, said, in this country we have freedom of religion, not freedom from religion. These guys don't have a leg to stand on. But to make this a level playing field, the next time the town of Broken Arrow needs to put up another water tower, let the atheists buy some land, donate it to the town with all the easements, and then the town will erect the water tower there, and they'll put the name of the atheists on the water tower.
That's right.
So, what could be fairer than that? And I've got to believe that if there's any justice in this world, that's exactly how a judge will see this.
Yeah, or else have the Baptist church rent that space as advertising. Pay the town $1 a year or something.
You know, there's probably something like
There's
that.
something.
There was written in the codicils, though, that this was part of the deal. That was the trade. That was the pro quid quo. Unbelievable. That don't the atheists have anything better to do than something like this?
Well,
I mean, this is moronic.
It's that old dog in the manger thing we have in this country.
Yeah.
I don't want it. I don't want anybody else to have it either.
This picture is worth 1,000 words.
Yep, it is. It puts a face on terrorism.
It puts a face on terrorism. Here's a woman stunned by the bomb blast. Her shoe is off. She's got a dazed look. Her shirt has become unbuttoned. I mean, and you can see she doesn't know whether she's on foot or horseback.
Don't know where she is.
No. And this is the thing that is amazing, is that these people, they're not people.
No.
They're scum attacking innocent people like this just for terror, for the use of terror.
That's right. That's
This is a great,
pure definition of the word. That's all
great,
it is.
great photo. Rather quickly, cancer charities settle with Massachusetts and other states. Two bogus firms, Cancer Fund of America and Cancer Support Services, collected a whole bunch of money, and less than 3% went to cancer victims. So the Federal Trade Commission, the Massachusetts Attorney General and all have nailed this guy finally.
Yeah.
Friends, if someone calls you and wants you to donate,
Not just of cancer now. This is the whole gauntlet.
the whole gauntlet, wounded warriors. The wounded warriors are not getting nearly as much money as they should be.
Yeah.
Those figures are way off, and I've got them in here someplace, and I'll get to it.
What's 60? 60-40.
Yeah,
40% was going to administration.
Yeah.
60, administration or advertising.
and yeah,
60 was going to back to the troops.
that's exactly
But
right.
in all fairness, they fired the top two guys,
Yeah,
and they
the-
promised to change it, to
we've
clean it up.
we've supported the Christian Children's Fund. They
We did
changed
that for
it.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
for
child
child-
fund now.
Yeah,
86%.
they were one of the top ones
Yeah,
in the.
goes
in
to the
old days.
kids.
Yeah,
And 6% to administration and 6 or 8% to fundraising.
yeah, fundraising. That's it.
And you should look for something in that ballpark. You know, you work hard for your money and you want to see it go to outfits that really do good.
Yeah.
Don't fall for whoever calls you. And the perfect way out is, oh, it sounds interesting. Send me the information in the mail and I'll look at it and then hang up. Don't debate the guy.
Yeah, particularly if they give you a tough time at that point. Well, we'd like to do it over the phone. If that's the reason, there's something wrong.
That's something really wrong.
If this was the March of Dimes or anybody else, they wouldn't mind sending it to you if you've never been on
That's
their mailing list, because
exactly
they'd love to get
right.
you on the mailing
The
list.
Jimmy Fund will send you all the information you want, but the Jimmy Fund doesn't make phone calls soliciting money. Okay. You know, Duane, I've promised you for 3 or 4 shows that I'm going to tell you my Iuka, Mississippi story.
Yes, I'm waiting up on that.
Well, there was a shooting in Mississippi. Police officer was killed. Traffic stop. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was domestic dispute
Yep.
at the home near Iuka, a small town in rural Mississippi. Now, this was a terrible thing. 44-year-old guy shot and killed. So, my Iuka, Mississippi story is, it sure is a little rural town, I'll tell you. I'm driving through Mississippi and I'm running low on gas. So I stopped and it's a gas station, sort of, in a general store. So I said, aha. So I go in and the guy says, pump it yourself. It's okay. Back out. It was one of the old kind of clunk like that.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And then, I come up all zeros, pumped it, put it back, come back in, picks up his binoculars and looks at it.
See what the pump says. Yeah.
$12.65.
Yeah,
I said, well, that's great. So I said, how about a can of Coke too? Well, he said, wouldn't you rather have something stronger? I said, well,
would you have
So-
in mind?
pulls out 2 styrofoam cups from underneath the top of the table.
Yep.
Pulls out some whiskey. Goes, brrr, brrr,
Whiskey or moonshine.
whiskey out of
Oh,
a
okay.
bottle.
I expected moonshine.
And he says, bottoms up. He says, now I says, I did that. This is because you're a Yankee. Now, this is back a long time ago,
Okay.
back when they're still fighting Civil War down there.
Some places I think they still
And he
are.
says, I just want you to know that not everybody down south is blah, blah. He said, some of us have got over the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, I'm pleased to meet you. Whereabouts you from? I said, Massachusetts. Oh, Massachusetts. Yeah. Well, that calls for another. I said, I'm not a big whiskey drinker. I said, I need something to chase it. That's why I asked you for the Coke.
Mm-hmm.
Coke. He says a beer. Have a beer instead. 3 shots, 1 beer.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get out of here.
Yeah,
I
I'll
got to
never get
get
out
to
of here.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
He said, well, an hour and a half, 2 hours driving, and you'll get to Memphis, Tennessee. I said, well, anyway, to make a long story short, and I'll cut through the whole thing. He would have talked to me forever.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
He lost his wife about 45 days before.
Mm-hmm.
And he's lonely, and he really wonders what he's going to do with the rest of his life. And he grabbed my hand before I left, and he said, you know what? He says, you're a fine young gentleman. He said, thank God you came in here and talked to me today. He says, not too many people come in and talk to me.
Yep.
And he said, well, I know are as nice as you were.
Yep.
So anyway, that's my Iuka, Mississippi story. Great story, huh? It wasn't worth the wait.
That was good.
Let's talk about this.
Yes.
Would you expound on that?
The state of North Carolina has instituted, and I won't get this exact because I don't know the legal aspect of it. What if they want to do, if you're a man, you go to the men's bathroom, you're ladies, you go to the ladies' bathroom. Don't give me this stuff that, well, I feel I'm a man, but I feel like a lady. Or I'm a woman and I feel like a man. My true inner self is, so the transgendered crowd, you stay where you belong. You got the male plumbing, you go to the men's room. You got the female plumbing, go to the ladies' room.
That's the way
Oh, this
it's been.
has so upset the liberals around the country. That's discrimination. It's hatred. It's this. It's that. So, among others, Marty Walsh is calling for a ban on travel to North Carolina because we can't possibly support them. They violate human rights.
I really got to get my head around this, but the mayor of Boston is now telling people in Massachusetts they can't go to North Carolina.
They shouldn't go to.
They shouldn't.
We won't do any state business there.
Oh,
Cuomo in New York, it's the same thing. There's a bunch of them that are doing this now.
morons.
Yeah, this morning I saw in early news the governor from North Carolina was on. He said something about, well, he said, I would like to all you people out there that believe you shouldn't come to North Carolina because North Carolina violates human rights, pick up your cell phone. What brand is it? He says, chances are it's Apple. And you love Apple. Apple this and Apple that. But he says, where's it made? China. Who's one of the biggest violators of human rights of a major country in the world? China. Who employs labor that practically starvation labor? China. But yet you support Apple. No problem at all. He says, don't be a hypocrite. And he said, this weekend coming up is the Final Four in Houston. Houston's got a dismal record. But you're all going to run down to Houston. So don't give me this.
You know, we really close our eyes to facts.
Yep.
And we run with whatever is the popular. It's
the
like
media
the
brings up.
tide
Yep.
coming in and going out. Well, we're going to go with the tide, you know. Friends, as sad as this is, I've got to report the time has run out.
Once again, we got through 15% of what we thought we were going to get through.
I have got a virtual treasure trove, and we're just going to have to dig into it. Duane's
not
got
even
a
touched.
pile. We didn't even get to Donald Trump crashing and burning yesterday.
Well, by the time we come in, there'll be 2 more crashes
Yeah,
and
why
then a
don't we,
couple fires.
why don't we hold Donald off the next time and see if any sense comes of all of this? But friends, be nice to one another. Have a great time. The Red Sox are coming on. The grass is getting green, and
Hopefully there's no more snow because
oh, the girl on Channel 7
I
said something about snow this morning.
when they get excited, you know it's bad.
Anyway, friends,
Yep.
take care. Good night.
Take care. Bye-bye.